So I'm gonna read. This is my 4th time reading from this book, and this will be my last time reading from my book at Lit Lounge, and so I'm so happy. It's never the last time. I didn't think that this section worked to read out loud, but I think it does. Dorothy, a friend of mine who was here earlier, just bought the book and started browsing through it and was like, not this pandemic giving me PTSD. So I'm so sorry, but the part that I'm reading has the pandemic in it. So this is the prologue of the book. It's broken down by months, every month in 2020, and it ends with 2025. I'm really proud of the prologue. It's not something that I wrote until towards the end of the book, when I realized that I wanted a very strong first sentence, and in order to make that first sentence make sense, the prologue came to be. So I'm not gonna read the whole year. I'll read January to August, and then I'll skip to part of January 2025. Are you ready? Okay. Prologue. All the Black people I know knew better. Black people do not need to be any more authentic. I smiled saying these words, but to be honest with you, I felt exhausted. Standing on that iconic Ted red carpet circle, my feet were numb. It had been a year. We were all exhausted and numb. January 2020. I started a new job as an inclusion marketing manager at The Store, an outdoor retail company headquartered in Seattle. During orientation, I couldn't help noticing the presentation slides featured more dogs than Black people. I couldn't help raising my hand to tell them that verbatim. My manager asked to review an internal memo about Martin Luther King Jr. Day, drafted on behalf of the CEO to the entire company. The store encouraged staff to honor Dr. King's legacy with acts of environmental service, cleaning up trash from local beaches, volunteering at community gardens, riding a bike instead of driving, etc. I expected whoever wrote the memo would quote from Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech. I was right. The author cited Dr. King's roaring call to let freedom ring from the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire and the mighty mountains of New York and the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado to prove how much Dr. King loved the outdoors. I paused and inhaled deeply. I croaked aloud to my keyboard, "What the fuck?" Companies ranked high on best places to work lists are often not the best places to work if you're Black or disabled. I did not need my cane anymore, but walking, sitting, standing, existing hurt. My pain was constant, invisible, and illegible. My manager knew I had a spinal cord injury and forgot this at her convenience. My only solace as a disabled person working in the outdoor industry was how injury-prone everyone seemed to be. On Mondays, weekend warriors in casts, slings, crutches, and scooters set up temporary workstations in the cafeteria, the only single-level building on campus, because they could not make it to their desks. Sometimes I worked there too. On MLK Day, the CDC confirmed the first COVID case in the United States at a laboratory 30 miles from my apartment. Seattle became the country's first epicenter. February 2020. As the inclusion manager, I partnered with influencers and small organizations led by and created for Black, brown, queer, women, and disabled people in the outdoors. I soon learned that my job helped shape a customer experience I would not have as an employee. My manager scheduled our first one-on-one meeting and told me, "It seems you have a race agenda." "I would hope so," I replied. "Isn't that why you recruited me?" My manager also forgot this at her convenience. I posted questions about campus inaccessibility on the Slack channel created for open discussions about DEI issues. HR saw my posts and summoned me twice. As feminist scholar Sarah Ahmed writes, complaints about hostile environments are made in hostile environments. HR said they wanted to understand, but really they wanted to shut me up. My manager explained that company policy allowed up to 2 designated days per week to work from home. This is not how chronic pain flares work. I hated my job and my body hated me. 2 years since surgery, and I was still angry at my body for growing something that hurt me. I felt betrayed, robbed of time, hope, ambition, and plans. I couldn't imagine myself in the future anymore. This is one way to die. I worried this foreboded another death, the final kind. My follow-up MRI appointment at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center in New York City was the following month. But with my new company's restrictive remote work policy, I hadn't yet booked my flights. 9 people died from COVID-19. George Floyd was alive, but I didn't know his name yet. Breonna Taylor was alive, but I did not know her name yet. The 3 white men who chased down Ahmaud Arbery in their truck were walking around, living their regular, murderous lives. Ahmaud Arbery was a runner like me, and he was dead. I did not know his name yet either. March 2020. Everything shut down. My office, Seattle, the country, the world, all the Black people I knew were losing their jobs. I imagined myself on that TED red carpet. The thought surprised me. People feared a future I finally saw myself in. I removed the digital dust from a graduate seminar I delivered at UW some months earlier titled, "Being Authentic at Work is Bullshit." But the world was changing. And now applying to TEDx Seattle felt like bullshit. I submitted my application anyway. My cousin, the flight attendant, called. "Come home right now if you don't want to be alone." She sounded a bit dramatic, but serious. That one word lingered, home. The place where we keep our people, not where we keep our stuff. My cousin, who never calls, was calling me home. I boarded a flight to JFK the next morning. New York City was COVID's next epicenter. City streets were empty, storefronts boarded, hospitals in chaos. Sloan Kettering postponed my appointment because knowing whether my tumor had returned was non-essential and not urgent. Nobody knew anything, anywhere. George Floyd was alive, but I did not know his name yet. Breonna Taylor was not alive, but I did not know her name yet. The men who murdered Ahmaud Arbery were still free. We all piled into our homes like kindling, awaiting a spark. April 2020. The president suggested we inject sunlight and bleach into our bodies to kill a virus. The most powerful person in the country was a moron. Still is. TEDx Seattle advanced my application to the next round. I lost my job at the store in a mass layoff. I was joyfully unemployed and racially exhausted. George Floyd was alive, but I did not know his name yet. The police murdered Breonna Taylor, but I did not know her name yet either. May 2020. Back in Seattle, a white man at Walgreens yelled in my face. When I yelled back, he pulled out his phone and threatened to call the cops. "Call the motherfucking cops," I said, laughing. He put his phone back in his pocket. The next day, a white woman called the cops on a black bird watcher in Central Park. And 1,200 miles west in Minneapolis, a store owner called the cops on George Floyd. The police murdered him. A high schooler named Darnella Frazier recorded a video on her phone and posted it online. George Floyd's recorded murder spread like the virus. So did rage. Thousands, then hundreds of thousands, then millions of people watched that video and flooded the streets with his name. More than 100,000 people died from COVID-19. I drove 30 minutes outside Seattle to consult a spinal cord injury specialist. I needed a doctor who did not care about me enough to be hopeful about my body. "Are you sure you want the truth?" the doctor asked. "Give it to me straight," I replied. The video shot by the men who shot Ahmaud Arbery went viral. Rage doesn't simmer, it burns. I couldn't feel my mind. I did not watch the video. I did not want to watch another Black person die on my computer. The doctor softened her eyes. "You will be numb like this for the rest of your life." I grieved everything. June 2020. The Seattle Police Department vacated its 12th precinct in the Capitol Hill neighborhood. Activists barricaded a 1-block radius declaring in orange spray paint, "This space is now the property of the Seattle people." News reported on the CHOP, also known as the Chaz, as a lawless place. From what I heard, much of the violence was initiated by those sworn to serve and protect. I drove to the CHOP one afternoon to see for myself. I walked by flowers, candles, prayers, and other offerings on street corner altars. Volunteers built what became the Black Lives Memorial Garden in Cal Anderson Park. A well-stocked, no-cop co-op provided free face masks, fruits, vegetables, and other donated supplies. Elaborate murals and colorful posters covered every surface. The CHOP was a place for community healing. The walls spoke everywhere I turned. Defund SPD, fund community. Manifest total collapse. The George Floyd rebellion. Read Black women. You have the right to remain heard. To work at the store, I quit the startup, a national women-focused co-working space and social club. I walked by its Seattle flagship located at the center of the CHOP. Someone spray painted, "Black Lives Matter," and a broken heart on its boarded window. Someone else tagged, "Black women are here," on the wall next door. I snapped a picture, remembering how hard I had pushed to create a safe space for Black women at that company. I wondered if my former boss would listen to me, since listening to Black women was convenient and profitable for now. All the Black people I know were laughing. White people kept texting me. Everyone had a race agenda after the cops killed George Floyd. Congressional Democrats took a knee dressed in kente cloth and posed for a photo. An executive at the store reached out for advice on how she should respond to the rising movement for Black lives. She wanted me to do the job she had just fired me from. I offered to rejoin as a paid consultant. She didn't text me back. More than 120,000 people died from COVID-19, and TEDx Seattle selected my speaker application. I wanted this so much, but not like this. Was my body a shield against criticisms about TEDx Seattle being too white? Was the organization cloaking itself in my skin? I drafted an email to decline, but what would I even say? Sorry, I can't accept because I'm worried you picked me because I'm Black and nobody will think I really earned my spot? I rewrote the email and accepted. This is America, after all. Measured by unbalanced scales, meritocracy is our greatest myth. No matter how hard we overwork, over-credentialize, no matter how overqualified we are, nobody thinks Black women earn anything anyway. July 2020. All the Black people I know were scared. I opened another window on my computer. I moved my TED speech to my laptop screen and dragged a video of the National Guard shutting down Portland to my second monitor. I texted a friend on my phone because I was terrified about going to the upcoming Black Lives Matter march. I told her about a video of the cops pulling a Black protester out of his wheelchair. I spent most nights like this, writing, watching, worrying. I went to the protest anyway. I brought the cane I didn't need anyway. Thousands marched through the South End's rapidly gentrifying streets and chanted, "Say her name, Breonna Taylor. Say her name, Breonna Taylor. Say her name, Breonna Taylor. Say her name." Before we could respond, a guttural scream pierced the air. She was a person. Breonna Taylor was a whole person. Signs held high boldly proclaimed her name. Marchers wore her portrait on their torsos. Her murder was an internet meme. Just about anything included the caption, "Arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor." Even Tampa's Major League Baseball team tweeted, "Today is opening day, which means it's a great day to arrest the killers of Breonna Taylor." In an effort to keep Breonna Taylor's on everyone's mind, people used her name, devoid of her personhood, to signal a virtue they could not sustain. I made it home without incident and opened my computer. My next draft to TEDx Seattle was late. I searched for words, but heard only chants. Alone in my apartment, I felt small and stupid. I stared at a computer, writing, worrying, watching, and risking nothing. People were dying, actually dying. Dying from COVID-19 and dying of theft, land theft, wage theft, time theft, life theft, soul theft, stolen health, stolen healthcare, stolen jobs, stolen family, stolen safety, stolen selves. The country was in such visible, urgent chaos, erupting from old, invisible cracks. I opened my speech because it was the one thing I could control while all else fell apart. The words of former colleagues, managers, and recruiters haunted my fingers as I typed. We want people of color to feel like they belong here, they say. You need to work on being more of a team player, they say. We're looking for passionate people who can bring a fresh perspective to challenge our way of thinking, they say. Your approach makes it difficult to work with you, they say. Our diversity is our strength, they say. Try to help others feel more comfortable around you, they say. Come just as you are, they say. You are hurting your relationships at work when you talk about racism, they say. January 2025. All the hope I had lay in the parts of my body I cannot feel anymore. The tops of my legs, the backs of my arms, the bottoms of my feet. But I cannot be numb like this forever. Institutions cannot protect us. The safety, security, and belonging they confer are conditional at best. But home is the place where you keep your people. These pages are filled with them. People who call me Jodi-Ann, Jody, Joe, Jodes, JB, auntie, daughter, sister, friend. Their stories remind us that we do not have to be alone, that community protects community, workers protect workers. Perhaps that is where my hope lives, with the people who bring ourselves whole. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank y'all so much for being here for the season 2 premiere of Lit Lounge, The People's Art. The lounge is open. Get a drink, get some coffee, get a little two-step, get some books. If you purchase books for any of our readers tonight, we'll be around. Come find us. Don't be shy. We will sign your books.